Hello creative people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zenaida and this is Fashion with Zenai, a place to inspire fashion lovers, to share my love for fashion and DIY projects. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make a tie front crop top with puffy sleeves. So let's jump right into the tutorial. To create the top, you will need these following tools. You can find all these materials in the description box down below. The fabric that I'm going to use is a floral print viscose fabric. To create the top, you will also need a lining fabric. I use the main fabric also as a lining fabric. If you're going to use the main fabric also as a lining fabric, then you will need 1.40 meter fabric and the width needs to be 1.50 meter. If you prefer to use the lining pieces on another fabric, then you will need 1 meter for the main fabric and 40 centimeter for the lining fabric. To create the top, you're going to need a pattern. I have a digital pattern of the tie front crop top in 5 sizes. You can find it on my Etsy shop. The link will be down in the description box. I used size XS to create the top. If you're not sure about your measurements, you can find a video on my channel on how to take your own body measurements. The link will be down in the description box. After you cut the pattern pieces, you're going to place the pattern pieces on the fabric. In my case, I use the main fabric also as a lining fabric. For the 2 front pieces, which you see on top of your screen, you're going to cut 2 lining pieces for the front and 2 lining pieces for the center front. On the bottom of the screen, you see the front piece. You're going to cut 2 front pieces on the facing fabric. For the back piece, you're going to place the left side of the pattern on the fabric fold. You're going to cut 1 piece as a lining fabric and 1 piece as a facing fabric. Before cutting your pattern, you will need to add seam allowance. You're going to add 1.5 centimeter seam on the armhole parts and 1 centimeter seam on all other edges. Lastly, you're going to cut 2 sleeve pieces on the main fabric. Don't forget to mark the back and front notches so you know which armhole side is for the back and front of the sleeve. You're going to add 1.5 centimeter seam for the armhole, 1 centimeter seam for the side, and 1.5 centimeter for the hem. And now you're going to start with the sewing process. Once you cut out the pieces, you should have these fabric pieces for the top and 2 sleeve pieces. First, you're going to start with the front pieces of the lining fabric. You're going to connect the princess seam and pin it. Then you're going to connect the lining backside seam with the backside seam of the lining front piece. And now you're going to sew the edges. This is how the lining front piece should look like. Make sure you cut some slides around the curved edges of the princess seam. For a clean look, you're going to iron all the seams to make the top look flat. This is how it will look like once you iron it. The next step is to gather the side of the front piece so you can join the side with the side of the back piece. You're going to sew 2 stitches along the edge and you're going to put the stitches to the longest stitch length, which is 4 on my sewing machine. Then you're going to pull and gather so that the side edge of the front piece is the same length as the side of the back piece. Now you're going to connect the side of the front piece with the side of the back piece. Once you pinned it, it should look like this. Sew the edges of the side. And this is how it will look like. You're going to iron the seams to make it look flat. Once you iron it, it should look like this. Now you're going to join the facing piece and the lining piece together. Place the lining piece on the facing piece with the right side of the fabric facing down. First, you're going to connect the bottom edges. Pin the bottom edges together. Leave an open space of 10 cm in the middle because you're going to need the open space to invert your top. When the bottom edge is sewn, you're going to iron the seams to make it look flat. Then you're going to connect and pin the upper edge. Make sure you leave the armhole open on both sides. Then you're going to sew the upper edge. This is how it will look like. First, you're going to cut the ends of the center front in a triangle. Then you're going to invert the top from the back opening. Make sure your points are all out. I used a pencil to do that. To close off the back opening, you're going to top stitch right on the edge with 0.1 or 0.2 cm away from the edge. So now you're going to top stitch the entire bottom edge of the top. For the upper edge, you're going to iron the upper edge of the back and the front. After you have ironed the edges, you also iron the top of the front so you can create pleats that will look like this. And now you're going to top stitch the bottom and upper edge of the crop top. The last piece that you're going to connect to the crop top are the sleeves. Join the side edges together and pin it. Now you're going to sew and overlock the side edges for a finishing look. This is one of the sleeves once you've sewn it. You're going to connect the armhole of the sleeve with the armhole of the top. This is the inside of the top, the lining, and this is the outer part of the top. This is the armhole of the sleeve. This is the side of the sleeve. This side of the armhole is for the front, the other side is for the back, and this part is the front piece. Connect the armhole to the sleeve, place the side seam of the top and sleeve together, then you're going to pin it to the armhole part of the top. You're going to leave the upper part of the sleeve open for now because that's the part where you're going to place the elastic. And you repeat the same steps for the other side of the armhole and sleeve. When you have pinned the armhole part, you're going to sew it with 1 centimeter. you're going to overlock the armhole edge and sew it with 1.5 centimeter so you can insert the elastic. And you do the same steps for the other armhole of the sleeve. Once you pinch the armhole edge, you're going to sew it. After you sew the armhole, you're going to cut 2 elastic pieces of 42 centimeter, including 1 centimeter seam allowance. Then you're going to cut a hole through the elastic. I used a bobby pin to insert the elastic through the channel. This is the opening where you're going to invert the elastic from the back side to the front. If you're using another size pattern, then you need to add extra centimeter to the elastic. For example, if you're going to use size S for the pattern, then you will need to add 2 centimeter extra on the 42 centimeter of the elastic. That would be in total 44 centimeter. For size M, the elastic length would be 46 centimeter, size L would be 48 centimeter, and size XL would be 50 centimeter, including the seam allowance. And you do the same steps for the other sleeve. Now you're going to make 2 safety stitches on the front and the back. Finish off the sleeve hem by overlocking the edge and top stitch with 1.5 centimeter. Then you have to leave 1 centimeter open so you can insert the elastic. Cut 2 elastic pieces of 17 centimeter, including 1 centimeter seam allowance. Then you're going to cut a hole through the elastic and insert the elastic with a bobby pin through the channel. If you're using another pattern size, then you will need to add extra centimeter to the elastic length of the wrist. For a size S, you can use the same elastic length as size XS, which is 17 centimeter, including 1 centimeter seam allowance. And for size M, L, and XL, you can use the elastic length of 18 centimeter, including seam allowance. And there's always another option to measure your wrist and add 2 centimeter extra. Stitch the elastic together, then you're going to stop stitch the opening. And this is the finished tie front crop top. It looks very cute. I really love how it turned out, and I can't wait to wear it. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you find it helpful and useful. If you create this crop top, send me a photo, or you can tag me on Instagram by using the hashtag ZenIDesigns. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, share, comment, don't forget to subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I'll see you on the next video. Have a blessed day. Bye bye.